For more on this, let's welcome to the show House Appropriations Congressman Guy Reschenthaler and Heritage Foundation visiting fellow Andy Puzder. Let's go ahead and start with you, Congressman, because what I'm hearing from this notion of responsible fracking is basically more regulations and no fracking. And it's not to say that the way we were fracking now, the way we are fracking now, or we're doing it, was irresponsible at all. And so it'll be interesting for me to see how this plays out in Pennsylvania, because when it came to voting for governor and when it also came to the Senate seat, people thought about abortion, they thought about climate change, they didn't think about the economy and jobs as they were expected to.
Well, Jackie, please just call me Guy as always. And I can tell you that this rhetoric we're hearing from the incoming governor, it's going to mean it might sound nice on the surface, but what it really equates to is less jobs, more expensive energy, and dare I say, a dirtier environment. Remember that we were the only nation that signed on to the Paris Climate Accord that was actually reducing our CO2 emissions. And we were doing it because we were burning clean natural gas, largely from Western Pennsylvania. But going after the industry, adding more regulations, that's just an economist would tell you that's just another form of taxation. Reducing the amount of pipelines, which would restrict the ability to get the natural gas to refineries and get that finished product to market, for example, that's going to make it more expensive to afford natural gas, which is who's going to bear the brunt of that? Working families. Yeah. And then lastly, let's not forget about the impact of manufacturing. You need natural gas, you need petroleum products for petrochemicals that you use in everything you manufacture. So if we're increasing the cost of oil and gas, it's going to increase not only our energy costs to manufacture products, it's also going to increase the cost of the petrochemicals, which is again going to it's going to exacerbate the inflation we're already having.
Yeah, these are all great points. And, you know, elections do have consequences. It would be difficult to feel sorry for the people of Pennsylvania if they are to complain as we move forward that jobs are being lost and that the energy industry isn't booming in that state, or that they're having a tough time economically, because, it was very clear and the handwriting was on the wall here. Andy, if I could come to you and talk a little bit about President Biden and the remarks that he gave at the White House yesterday, because he felt like he didn't lose as much as he was expected to. He doubled down on his policy. So what we know now is that there's going to be no pivot here to try to bring both sides of the aisle together. Rather, Joe Biden's going to dig his heels in. He had just told us a few days ago, no more drilling. He's saying, I'm not changing my policies. He's been discussing these windfall taxes on big oil as well. So this isn't just about Pennsylvania at this point, but this is still about this war that's been waged on the oil and gas industry in this country.
But, the strange thing is, in his answer to reporters' questions yesterday, he got all over the oil industry for having all these $100 billion in profits and asked them to increase production and refining. Now, they don't sell oil for any different price than President Biden sells it when he takes it out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. They sell it for the same price he does because the market sets the price. But he's asking them to, on one hand, increase production, increase refining. At the same time, he's committed. He has said plainly, boldly, and with great emphasis that he's going to destroy the fossil fuel sector. So he's saying, I'm going to destroy your business, but in the meantime, I want you to invest in your business. And then you've got the new governor of Pennsylvania saying the real problem here is we don't have a way to transport the oil. Well, gee, I wonder how we could solve that problem.
We killed the pipelines.
Yeah, there's a big mystery there, right? So they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. It makes no sense. It's complete nonsense. Energy prices will continue to surge. Fuel oil, what's used for heating homes, was up 20% in October over September, and it's up about 70% year over year. When the winter hits, people in Pennsylvania, and I'm from Northern Ohio, I know what it gets like in parts of Pennsylvania. When winter hits in Pennsylvania, the people that voted for these Democrats and these policies need to take a look at their fuel bills and see what it takes to heat their homes, and they've got nobody to blame but themselves.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me because you bring up this point that the president has said the record profits of the oil companies, big oil, is just raking it in hand over fist. And Congressman, he wants them to reinvest, except that they're afraid that their investment will be worthless because he's essentially saying he wants to limit fossil fuels. And there's been no evidence over the course of time that they have ever, messed with prices in a way where there's been price fixing, right? Even when prices are higher, it's the way the market works. Yet he wants them to artificially lower prices for consumers, basically telling them they should engage in price fixing. It's wild.
Yeah, it is. And we know this doesn't work. We had one of these taxes back in the 80s, and it was actually found that it just made gasoline more expensive. It made energy more expensive. And, we had the tech industry making record profits during the COVID pandemic, when, by the way, they were pushing out a narrative that everybody had to stay home. And we've had zero talk about getting windfall profit taxes from Facebook and Google and Amazon. It's only when it's the energy companies.
Yeah, that's a great point, and I'm glad that you made it. Congressman Guy Reschenthaler, Andy Puzder, great to see you both. We'll have you back on soon. Obviously, a lot to talk about tonight. Thank you.